Hello and welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, I'm Sheen, your host, and welcome back to the Dream Girl podcast. Again, this is one of the special episodes that's being filmed in London. And today, for the first time on the podcast, please welcome my friend, Dr. Pyal.
Ooh, this is so exciting. Thank you for having me.
It is super exciting. How have you been since we last saw each other in Dubai a week ago?
I've been thinking about you every day.
Oh.
Do you know, I think, sometimes when you, for people listening, we met at a wedding, never met each other. You didn't know anything about me. I didn't know anything about you. And, when you just feel a connection, I think we had common musical interests, that helped. But, it was nice. And I had come alone. You had come alone to this wedding. And it was just really nice. And we just really connected and hit it off.
We did. And you know what's funny is that, as you said, we didn't know each other. And the first day we didn't even speak to each other.
Hardly.
Yeah, I don't remember us chatting. And then from the second day, it felt like I've known you forever.
I know. I was telling my husband exactly this. I was like, you know what? I meet hundreds of people all the time. And very rarely do I think, oh my gosh, I really connected with that person on a level.
Me too, don't worry.
So, I'm really looking forward to getting to know you better on a sort of personal level. But absolutely. I think, watching what you do on professional stage, I've been really impressed. As I said to you before we started, I've been listening to your episodes and they're super inspiring, so you should be very proud.
Oh, thank you. But I've been because since I've come to London, everyone's asking me who's on the lineup, right, for this season. And then when I mention you, everyone follows you actually for your cooking recipe.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone's like, I know weird. Dr. Pyal. And I was like, oh, okay, I did it.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Because I had the same about you. And when people were talking about you in Dubai, they were like, do you know Sheen? Sheen is like this big podcaster. And I was like, I should know her. I feel like I should know her because she's my kind of woman.
Yeah.
But now we know.
Now we do. It's okay.
Never
We're caught
too
up.
late.
We caught up. But now, I'm going to have to deal with a lot of heat because I picked you out of everyone from the wedding to have on the podcast.
Yeah, but I feel honored. But the thing is, as I said, you get drawn to people.
Yeah.
You get drawn to people's energy. And, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have believed in energy and all of this. But it is what it is.
It is. But, we'll get on the topic of friendship later. For now, give the audience a little bit of context about who you are.
Oh, gosh. If somebody looked at my Instagram page, they would think, okay, she clearly is a bit confused. And I think I am a bit confused. I'm always a bit confused. And I think that I didn't realize that with that confusion comes creativity. All right. So I am, by profession, I'm a doctor. And I have been a doctor for many, many years. I'm a mother. I have two amazing girls. I'm a wife. And I have this online presence, which I'm very, very grateful for. But it comes with a lot of ups and downs, as people can imagine. It gets very busy and sometimes I don't even know what to do with it, But my main job is that I work in skincare now.
Yeah.
So I am a GP, so in this country, a general practitioner, so what we'd call a family doctor across the globe. But my social media kind of took me down sort of the skincare route a bit more than I was doing professionally. So it's been really, really good. My page started in 2020, so in lockdown. It was a lockdown baby where I just started cooking at home. And I think when you're doing a job and something like 2020 happens, you realize some real home truths about yourself and who you want to be and where you want to be. And I think that's what happened to me in 2020. So I'm here now as a doctor, as a mother, and my job is very important to me. But I just enjoy every day as it comes, and I take it as it comes. So, 2 to 3 days a week I'm working in my clinic. The other days I'm just having fun. Feels like I'm having fun.
But you know what? That confusion actually comes because we try to force ourselves into one thing, especially when you're a creative person, because your brain just runs to different places. And I think you forgot one of the things that you do as well. You're a bit of a fashionista.
Do you know what? I am terrible at fashion. No, I know. And people always say, oh, you should share more clothes. But actually, I have hardly any clothes. And I am, and even at the wedding, they were like, oh, where is this from? And I'm like, this is like 20 years old.
I remember you said that to me.
Yeah. And I was like, I wish I could tell you that. And I had some clothes that were from a particular company, and I loved wearing those. But the rest of it all just came from my wardrobe that I never really update. I'm a bit boring, but I like dressing up.
You have an eye for it.
Maybe.
Yeah,
But so do you. And I think, when someone recognizes
really do.
that means that you do too. And you like getting dressed up. And we talked about this at the wedding, right?
Did.
I love
Same.
getting dressed up.
I do. And I didn't used to, growing up. I didn't really like it.
Really?
Yeah. For me, it happened much later in life. And obviously, I grew up with an older sister. My mum cares a lot about fashion as well. So did my sister. And for some reason, I was like, nope, I refuse to be part of this. And then now I'm like, nah, I'm a bit late.
I would never have guessed. Yeah, like you're very well put together. And
I try
I think that happens as you become a woman. Like there is this kind of, and also, your confidence and everything else, and your style is a lot to do with that. And how you're feeling inside, and vice versa as well. Sometimes getting dressed can be really empowering. And I think beauty is like that as well. Like when you're doing your hair, and I would never walk out without doing my hair.
Really?
And that's just upbringing, right? Like,
yeah.
And when my kids don't brush their hair, I go crazy.
Yeah, my mum doesn't like it when I don't brush my hair.
Yeah.
I do go out sometimes with my hair not brushed.
I mean, it's personal choice, right? I'm not going to hold it against you.
She's like, you're crazy, but that's okay.
In your own lane. But I cannot. I wake up in the morning. I mean, sometimes I will rush and I will get the kids to school and, in my joggers or whatever. But on the whole, I will make myself presentable. And that's the same with my social media page, whether it's I'm going clinic or, whatever. It's just like I like it. I feel good. And it gets me ready for the task.
Yeah.
Everything is a task, isn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, at some point in my life, I realized that once I put shoes on, I can work, even if I'm at home. But if I don't, the mind doesn't switches on. It's just like, oh, I'm just chilling at home.
Oh my God, yeah. Right? I don't know how people like are in pajamas all day and like on their screens and like just carry on doing what they would normally do. I can't get into that mindset.
Same. And if I am, I will not switch off then.
Yes.
That's it. But okay, you do a lot of things. How do you manage it all?
Yeah, I ask myself this a lot. And I think you're probably waiting for some really interesting answer.
You better.
But you know what? I think the idea of juggling it all is like a myth. And when I think about it, yes, I have a really good support system. I have my husband, I have family nearby, I have supportive friends.
Yeah.
But, the biggest realization I had over the last few years was, it doesn't matter if you don't. Like, you can drop the ball sometimes and it's okay. And I drop the ball a lot. Something always gives. I have a priority list in my head every week. It's like, okay, this week's priority will be X, Y, and Z. Everything else will have to wait. Sometimes it's like the kids' PE bags are not ready, or like I've forgotten to pack something for them. Or sometimes it will be like I forgot to send that email, or I didn't sign something. But there are a few things that are like non-negotiable, and those are like self-care things.
Yeah.
And you'll probably recognize this as somebody who gets quite busy as well, is that the moment you let your self-care slip, that's it. Everything else slips like an avalanche after that. So you have to prioritize that. That is my top. And I say this to a lot of women as well. Like if you don't prioritize yourself, nothing else is going to get done. It's just like, it's the domino effect then. Yeah,
and it's like the thing on the airplanes, right? Where they tell you put your mask first and then help someone else. Because you can't help someone else otherwise. It's always important to do that. But obviously you have 2 girls. How old are they now?
The older one is 12.
Right.
And the younger one is 9, but she acts like she's about 15, 16. So I pretty much feel like I've got 2 teenagers.
Right.
But they're really good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed like that.
Yeah, I remember us talking about this because I was like, oh my God, in this generation, having teenagers must be hard. But
it is tough.
You've been blessed.
I have been blessed. And I think I am also blessed with a really good husband who's very grounded, and he's raising them with me as as a good dad. And I think it's a two-pronged approach. And sometimes we can all get a bit carried away with lots of things, but they're good. Like they're not into anything like that I would have to control, which is, touch wood, very, very odd.
Yeah.
And they're good kids. They're very outdoorsy, and I think that helps.
Yeah.
But they are like my life, right? Like I think any mom would tell you that they are an important aspect of my life, but I don't let them consume me as well. Like I think sometimes, going back to your question about how do you do it all, I think no aspect of my life I let kind of take over. And I've been there, when I had the babies, when they were very little, like it's all consuming, and it has to be to a certain extent. But now, like I prioritize them, but then I also say to them, right, Mama's going to go. I'm going to go. Like when I went to Dubai.
Yeah.
It was fantastic for me and them because that distance is important. So I am with them all the time otherwise, but we do get breaks from each other as well as a family.
And how do they feel about you being on social media?
Do you know what? They love it. They love it. They absolutely love it. They're so, they get so proud.
Do they think you're cool?
That's an interesting question. I don't know what cool is anymore. I don't think they're cool. No, to answer your question, I don't think they think I'm cool. I think that they think I might be cool in some sectors,
degree, some level.
Yeah. Because Karina came home yesterday and she said, "Oh, mom, my friend's mum follows you," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Like, yeah, and she was like, she kind of didn't say anything, and I was like, "Well, how do you feel about that?" And she's like, shrugged her shoulders, and I was like, okay.
But she liked it.
I think she does.
The fact that she told you. Yeah,
like it's a bit of clout, right?
Yeah.
I think street cred and everything. But more than anything, I think they're just proud that they're both very much learning to be young ladies. And I think they do silently like what I do. But there was a period where they didn't know what I did. So there was like a bit of confusion. They're like, what does mommy do? And like for years, obviously, I've told everyone I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
But suddenly my portfolio is much wider. And so recently they started telling everyone that I was just on social media. They just said, oh, she works on Instagram.
She's an influencer.
Yeah. Well, they don't know the term influencer. So they just say, she works on Instagram. Yeah. So a couple of the teachers had asked me, like, so do you work on Instagram? And I was like, well, actually, I do, but my other job is that I am still a doctor.
Yeah.
And obviously, there are people who work full time in social media. It's it is a job. But I kind of felt a little bit like, oh my gosh, my kids didn't know that I still. So that in itself is quite telling, right? That they can't keep up. So I can't imagine people anywhere else could keep up with what I do. But I think. I do like having my finger in a lot of pies. It keeps me going. I like change, and I think a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't like change. Yeah.
But I've learned to accept that change is necessary.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the training I'm doing right now is just to accept change. Yeah. But I love that you like it.
I find I like the challenge. I like the getting there, but more than the destination. I like the journey. I like the new challenge of getting something done or achieving something. But and I like learning. So if I with social media, it was a whole. I mean, you probably know this as well. Like it's a big task to learn how to at my ripe old age to learn how to edit.
Oh my god!
Edit reels and this happened in lockdown because it was when Instagram was just tiles, right? It was just pictures. It was just easy. You just took a picture of your food you're done. And you wrote a ton of stuff underneath. It then very quickly was like, you've got to write, you've got to edit and write. I was like, what? So that was a whole new, and now my kids do it, they can do it. And they don't do it for me, but they do it very easily because they're taught in school, in media club. So obviously times are changing. But I couldn't get my head around it for a little while, and it took a while. And also just being in front of the camera, as somebody who's never really done it, it's a daunting task.
It is.
But, as they say, if you don't put yourself in that uncomfortable, there's no growth, right? Like you're not going to get to the other side, or you're not going to develop. So yeah, I'm looking for my next challenge as we speak, but I don't know at the moment what that may be, but
and also I remember you said that you're doing it because you still enjoy it, and the moment you stop enjoying it, you wouldn't do it.
Yes.
Right? And I like that about you, that you are very self-aware of how you feel about things, and then you reassess. Which I think a lot of people don't do because we think, oh, I've already spent so much time trying to get into this. Like, I learned how to edit. I might as well just stick to it.
Yeah.
But it's good to know when something doesn't suit you anymore. Hey, dreamers, quick pause from the convo. If you are wondering what the Dreamers Digest is, it's my exclusive online community where I share behind the scenes goodies, lessons from building this podcast, and all the juicy stuff that never makes it to the final cut. If you're not in it yet, check the link in the show notes and come join us. It's 100% free. Also, shocking fact, 89% of you watching this on YouTube right now are not even subscribed. Wild, right? So if that's you, go ahead and hit that button. It would mean the world to me. And now, super exciting news. We launched the Podcast Academy. This is where I've poured everything I've learned from taking this show to 150 million views and turning it into a real business. It's 10 powerful modules packed with tools to help you launch, grow, and actually monetize your podcast. You'll even get the chance to submit your episode for personal feedback from me and my team. If you've been thinking about starting a show or scaling the one you already have, this is your sign. Click the link in the description box below to learn more. Now, back to the episode.
Yeah, I think that is important. And I think that comes with age, though. I don't think I would have had that insight 20 years ago. I mean, I stuck with a career that I didn't fully love for a really long time. And there's a negative side to that because you get stuck in a rut. You start living for holidays, you start living for weekends. That's not how it should be. You should enjoy what you do. So now that I have this balance where I've got a couple of challenges, I've got a couple of things that I do because I have to, and it's part of my job, that balance keeps me going. Because if I just did the one thing, I think I would struggle.
Okay, now I want to talk about something else. I think at the start when we were setting up, you said, oh, the episode turns out okay, you keep it. If not, don't use it.
Yeah.
And you said, oh, this is my imposter syndrome again.
Yeah.
So this, it comes up a lot, especially with women, imposter syndrome. And have you heard of the bicycle face story? No. Oh, you will love this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, especially as a doctor, you're going to love this. So do you know who Reshma Saujani is?
No.
So she is the founder of Girls Who Code.
Okay.
And
yes.
You know her, right?
Yeah.
So she did a speech at a graduation ceremony somewhere, and she told the story about the bicycle face.
Yeah.
So back in the day when the first bicycle came about, it had the one that had the two wheels. It was a huge revolution for the world because before that, it was just the one wheel. And those were like Victorian times where women would wear the big puffy dresses.
Yeah.
So they would have to get like a whole carriage with horses in order to go anywhere. For the first time, they could travel alone on the bicycle and go anywhere. And men did not like that because now women were too free. So then they actually published in the medical journal that there's a new disease that's only targeting women called the bicycle face. And they described all the symptoms that you will get from riding a bike. So, like flushed cheeks, hamstrings, whatever, all of those. So all the women stopped using the bicycle. And then when the first woman joined the medical council in America, the first thing she did was disprove the bicycle face. And she said she compared the bicycle face syndrome of that time to the imposter syndrome of today's time for women. And she said, we've been fed this idea that if you don't feel like you belong somewhere, it's because there is a name for it. But if you didn't know there's something called imposter syndrome, you would never think that way.
I wouldn't know that I'm feeling it,
No.
That is so interesting.
Right.
And so terrible as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you think about like the lengths that people would go to.
Are you surprised?
I'm not, to be quite honest with you. And you know what? I hope that my children never feel any imposter syndrome. But there is a positive side to imposter syndrome.
Ooh.
because it always makes me want to do better. And not in a sort of obsessional way, but in a kind of
Self-aware way.
yeah, you know, where it's like I could do better, and there is more to learn, because there always is. And I really struggle to get cocky, ironically speaking. I really struggle, and I really cannot stand there and say I know what I'm talking about. And I don't know why that is. And obviously my social media has a lot of expert advice, if you like. But even in that advice, there'll always be a little caveat. There'll always be like, oh, but if this happens, then check with this, or this is my opinion. You know, there's always a little disclaimer. And that even in life, if someone asks me like, oh, you know, some advice about how to get to Portsmouth, I will tell them, and then I'll be like, but I'm not the expert on this.
Check.
Yeah, just double check with, you know, Google Maps or whatever. But see, do you see what I'm saying here? Like, there's always that doubt in my mind. And I wish it wasn't there sometimes. I wish I could be. I think it's partly a female thing where you're never 100% sure.
I 100% relate to that. When you said it, I'll tell you what came to mind immediately when you said that, because I was telling my friend about this podcast interview I did with this one guest who was a male guest. And I told her what he was saying. And she was like, you disagree with that, don't you? I was like, yes, of course. She was like, did you challenge him on the podcast? And I was like, well, no.
No.
She was like, why? I was like, I wouldn't know. I did, but when you watch it, it doesn't even look like I'm challenging him, right? Because I'm like, you know, but maybe there's this and there's this point of view. But you know, open to interpretation. And I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I sugarcoat it? It's because it's exactly what you're describing. I am not 100% confident enough to be cocky about something and to just. But that's the thing, when you see people online, they just throw statements with so much conviction. And I think we don't have it even when we're 100% right.
Yeah. But, you know, I think that's okay. I think it's okay. I've got to 42 with the same issues for so many years. But, you know, I also think critical judgment, critical appraisal, challenging people is important.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it in a confrontational way.
Yeah.
But I think something that I'm trying to teach my kids is, if someone says something is blue, check.
Yeah.
You know, because we live in a world where there are lots of expert voices out there, lots of loud voices, lots of people who want to get heard. So I'm saying to them, well, they told you that, but did you believe them? I've never been that kid. I never said, but why is the sky blue? Or why is that the way it is? I regret that. So that is something that we should do more of. But I don't think it's a bad thing to be a little bit unsure or not overly confident, because confidence can be quiet and it can be, I guess,
loud.
Yeah, it can be like, you know, you may voice something and you may not. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think in that scenario, you thought it, but would it have been? How different would it have been if you had challenged that situation? Like, what would have happened, you know?
Yeah.
You know, at what cost does it come?
Exactly.
And is it a battle you want to fight?
Exactly.
Right? Like, we all have to pick our battles, because there are too many battles we fought, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even, you know, when it comes to friends. So, okay, again, now you can give us some guidance, okay? As someone who's just a couple of years older.
Just a couple of years.
You know, growing up now, I've realized that friendships really evolve over time, right? And some people that you thought would be there forever, you start to see them grow apart. Yeah. We grow separate ways, and then now suddenly it's gone. And now, especially when you have a public presence, as you said, you know, we know people know you online, and you start to make these new friendships. Sometimes it's hard to know people's real intention behind. And then I've been very naive many times of trusting what people are telling me. And then further down the line, I realized that this was never going to be a good friendship. And now I made a video about it recently where I talked about making friends as a grown-up.
Yeah. Right?
It's really hard because you start to lose the older friends that you had. And the new ones that are coming in, you're not sure whether this is good or not. How do you test it? And it was crazy the reception that video got because clearly it's something that everybody is struggling with.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I've never had this much drama with friends now than I did. When I was young, I didn't have it. People didn't even care that much at that point. But now, especially being online, is really hard.
I can relate.
Okay.
But I have totally had pre-social media friends and post-social media friends. Now, I still have some very old friends that are like, pick
the
up
ride
the
or
phone.
die. Yeah.
No matter what time of day. Like if I did want to speak to them, I could pick up the phone and speak to them. But there is a certain amount of shedding that happens. Okay. And that is in every aspect of life, right? Every decade, I feel like there's a bit of shedding that happens. Those people that no longer align with you and your beliefs, it's hard for them to sometimes stick with you and vice versa. So I've definitely seen a bit of shedding, mostly in the last 10 years. Kids change things, people who are in different stages of their lives. Marriage changes things, dating changes things. I've seen it in even new friends, like when they've started dating, things have changed, dynamics have changed. But I think that with friendship, the way I see it now is that I expect nothing. So the moment you stop expecting, friendship becomes this wonderful thing because, then she's not expecting anything, I'm not expecting anything, and we can just do what we want to do when it suits both of us. So I think the drama occurs where there's this mismatch of expectation or something you expected didn't happen or she expected you were going to do and it didn't happen, you weren't there, or, there's always some sort of niggle. But if we all come to this agreement, at my age, that certainly is the case, like nobody holds anything against each other. And I do try to actively stay out of drama. And that can also get me into trouble sometimes. It's like, oh, but you didn't say anything when that happened. I'm like, yeah, but it's not my fight to fight, or I just stay out of it. And I think you have to be a bit more selective about who you hang out with because that energy filters into your professional life. It can affect your relationships. It can affect your kids sometimes. You have to be mindful of who you're hanging out with. You know what they say, you're an average of your closest 5 friends or whatever. And I truly believe that. Like, I think, you can have friends who you dip in and out of, right? Like there are friends that live in different countries, but you don't have to have like a meetup every 6 months. You know that they're there and you can pick up where you left off and it'll be fine. But it's the conversations that you really have to weigh up. Like, how do you feel after you see that person? And I said this to a lot of friends recently, like, so when you go out and you're with the group of people, like, do you feel drained or do you feel energized? Or do you feel like, it was fine? You know what I mean? You have to sit down and ask yourself that because it can be a lot. Like socializing, I think now is really tough.
It is. It is. And if you're going to spend that much energy and time with someone, they need to deserve that, right? And it needs to align, as you said. But honestly, man, I'll tell you what, Pyal, what bothers me is that
Tell me.
I've realized that a lot of people are just, how do I say this?
There's a saying, isn't there? I'm going to put words into your mouth.
Please.
But I feel like you understand Hindi.
Yeah, I do.
So there's a saying in Hindi that matlabi, right? There'll be matlabi friends that are there because you have something that they want or there's something that you could give them. Now, I have no time for matlabi friends, but there are sometimes they will be there. Those friends will be there. And you can't necessarily cut them off or shed them. But there's a lot to learn from them as well. Maybe you can teach them something as well. Like there's an opportunity there. So that group of friends are hard.
I agree. Matlabi friends are definitely one of them, but that's not even what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another group.
There is another one. Because the matlabi, you can suss them out, right? They're here.
You can
they're
see
here
them.
for a reason, right?
Yes.
But for me, what has been hardest to navigate are friends who are there for you in the trenches. When you're building or when you're struggling, they're there supporting you. But when good things happen, they're not there. And it's almost like there's a sense of jealousy that seeps in. And it's like they were very happy for you as long as you were not doing well. And now they didn't expect you to actually do the things that they were hoping for you to do. And then for me, especially when like milestones and stuff were hit, I noticed that the people who I thought would be the ones who would be the happiest went absolutely quiet. And there's always those little snide comments that I will get being like, and where you see that it's the little jealousy peeping out. And then that's, I'm like, I'm just so genuinely happy for others. It's really hard for me then to not kind of like want to not have anything to do with them because I'm like, intentions are wrong.
But I think that you can be happy for people because you're in a good place.
You think?
Yeah. But I think it's very dependent on where they are in their life. What is bothering them? Because you know what I say to people, like, why can't you be happy for somebody? Like, why are you not happy? I say this to my kids as well. I always take it back to my kids. Like, when my younger one came back and some girl got some achievement and I said, are you happy for her? And she couldn't say yes. And I said, but why are you not happy? She's like, because I wanted it. Because I wanted that thing.
Right.
And children are really good. They just say it how it is.
They're more self-aware as well.
They're just more vocal about it.
Yeah.
But we can't vocalize. Suddenly something happens as we become an adult and it's like, we can't say that I can't be happy for Sheen because
I want it.
I want that. I want to be successful and I'm not getting it. So sometimes their solution is to cut that person off or not be there for them anymore.
Yeah.
And because they can't face it. They can't face the happiness of that person. And that's also okay, you know, because that's their fight that they're fighting. It's not necessarily anything to do with you. And you want them there. You would want them there in an ideal world.
Yeah.
But if they can't be there, they're no good to you. If they're going to be there like fake, like a prop, that's not really what you want anyway.
Absolutely.
So I'd rather be without those kind of friends as well.
Yeah. So you see, there's none left.
I know. But there's those circles, when they talk about the circles, like the centric circles. So there's like you in the middle, and then there's the immediate circle, and then there's the circle after that.
Yeah.
And I think I was watching a movie recently, and it was in there, and I thought about my own circle, and the two people either side of myself is very important.
Of course.
And your wider network is important, but it depends on what kind of person you are. I'm very stoic, and I'm very like, I don't need anybody. Of course, I do need people. We all need people. Sometimes I get caught up in trying to just be, I can be a lone rider. I can do it myself. I don't need anybody. You know, there's that fine line of being strong feminist and just being a loner.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm not good at socializing. I mean, we saw this at the wedding. I'm not good at socializing. I latch on to one or two people and I will talk their ear off until they can't take it anymore. But I'm not good at like going over there and saying something and going over there and having a little conversation.
Same.
Like I can't do that type of socializing. So for me, I'm a 2 or 3 people. That's it. Like I'm done. And maybe that, you know, that's okay. And maybe that's the kind of person you are too.
Yeah, I think that there are 2 things here, right? The first one, I'll start with the more later point where you said, I'm the same. Especially if it's a room where I don't know people. Basically, it's networking, right?
I noticed that.
So
that
I don't want to go and talk to a lot of people and try to meet them. I don't care. For me, that's it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Small talk, I hate.
Yes.
I'm like, you can't even pay me to small
talk. I cannot do. In fact, I think when people start doing small talk, I have to make a swift exit.
I switch off.
Yes.
And I'm just there zoned out.
Yeah. And then they're looking at me like, she's not listening anymore. I'm like, I wasn't listening from the beginning.
I was never there.
I was never there. But you can tell straight away that you're not gelling with that person.
Yeah, sometimes you can, but sometimes you're trapped. Right?
Yes.
And then that's it.
You are trapped. Yeah.
But
social situations are tough like that.
They are. But if it's a room where I know most people, I would happily go around and talk to people.
Oh, see, even then I won't.
See, I would. I'm social butterfly like that.
Yeah.
When
That's
it's people I
good.
know, I would love, because I don't have to do small talk with you. I will have an actual conversation.
Yeah. You can
So
pick
I will
up
go
where you
around.
left off.
Yeah, that I can do.
No, even with people I know, like, I don't like doing it. I like deep conversations. I get really deep. And actually, it can be considered a flaw because I will meet somebody and if I hit it off with that person, we will go in deep to the trenches of everything. And it gets really like, sometimes if that person is willing, it can go on for a while. But if they're not, then I stop and move on or just go home.
But I think that's good, right? I feel like and I think that's why we connected as well, because we do prioritize more meaningful, deeper connection, right? I'm not here for the small talk.
No.
And then take a picture and we're done.
No. I mean, pictures. I am like, so that is where I'm not an influencer, right? Because I do like taking pictures and I take a lot of pictures. But in a room full of people where I want to have conversation or I'm connected with somebody, I won't take a picture. I'm really bad at taking a picture. At this wedding, the last wedding I went to, I hardly took any pictures in a room full of people where I should have perhaps, but I didn't.
But even us at the wedding, we took a few pictures, but I saw everybody posting their carousels after the wedding. I was like, I have to.
Yeah. I had lots of pictures of myself.
Same. I'll have me in a mirror.
Yes.
I don't have me at the wedding.
I have like 2 or 3, in the groups, but also I was having fun. If I'm having fun, my phone doesn't come out.
Same.
Like my phone comes out when I'm getting ready and I want to do a little outfit check. But otherwise, like if I'm in a group, I find it a bit of a conversation stopper.
Yeah.
I find it a little bit like it impedes the flow. So I don't do it. Even if I want to do it, I won't do it. If I see someone famous and I really want to have a selfie with them, even then I won't do it.
Oh my God. Okay. Story time. Yesterday, I was in Harrods Cafe.
Yeah.
Molly May came and sat in front of me where you are, in the table in front of me with 2 other women. And I was like, I should ask her to come on the podcast. I should ask her to come on the podcast.
You should.
Do you know what I did? Packed my things and left. And
Imposter syndrome.
But as soon as I left, I went upstairs. And then this girl came up to me and she recognized me and she wanted a picture. And all this time I'm thinking she's more brave than I am.
Yeah.
I was like, she's so much
But you know
more
what?
brave than I
would
am.
have been the same. I wouldn't have been able to go over to her either.
But I was like, I'm going to disturb her. I don't want to disturb her. She looks like she's in a meeting. I don't want to go.
But why would you go to Harrods Cafe if you want privacy?
You think? But it's in the basement.
Doesn't matter. Still a public place.
You think?
Yeah. If I don't want to be recognized, I'm not going to be sitting in Harrods.
I'll be at home. Yeah.
I'll be at home or in a private space somewhere with my
Yeah.
friends, having a meeting.
Yeah.
There is, you sign up to that when you're famous, right? I'm sure.
I should have done it.
You should.
But I know I wouldn't.
It's fine. But as I said, I would have done exactly the same thing. I would have packed up and gone as well. And then told everyone I saw her, but no one will believe me.
I messaged everyone. I was like, guess who's here?
Guess who I saw? And they're like, who? Oh, no picture, no proof.
Nothing.
It did not happen.
I mean, we were at the concert with Kailash Care, with B Pratt.
I took one picture. No, I don't even think I took one picture. There were people who took so many pictures.
People took selfies. They were on stage.
I had nothing. Nothing. Not like, I think I had one short snippet when he sang like one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I was like, when I got home, I wanted to show everyone. And everyone was like, where are your pictures? I'm like, oh gosh, I have nothing. I think I was talking to you most of the time about how amazing it was and how incredible
it was.
We were
having a great time, to be honest.
We were, literally.
We were.
But I had a great time the night before with
B Pratt. Yeah.
That was incredible. Like the music and even the DJ that came on after.
Yeah.
I was enjoying the music.
B
I was
Pratt
literally
great.
in a trance.
But you know what's funny? I've never heard of him before. I know his songs.
Yeah,
but
same.
I never knew who it was.
When you look at his name, it's like in Sher Shah songs.
Yeah.
In more recent songs that I didn't even recognize. Like it's the third name or the second name. In the movie Animal.
Yeah,
I think he's
the fight scene or whatever, he's in there.
Yeah.
Everyone was singing and I was like, oh, well, I had a great time.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was, but I had a great time.
The music was fun. But when you're having a good time, that I think it's really hard to be present like that. So I really enjoy that moment where I'm literally in the moment and there's nothing else that can stop me from enjoying that moment. So even reaching for my phone at that point would be like a break in that flow.
Same.
So I don't do it.
Same. I don't like it. Even I was on the train here and I was like, oh, I should probably vlog today. And I took my phone out and there was literally one other person in the carriage. And I was like, nah, I can't do that. I was like, to do that? Oh, no.
Yeah.
I can't.
I think you're naturally probably a little bit shy, right? I'm like that as well.
But we don't come across as shy.
You think so?
You don't come across as shy. Really? I can tell you that.
I am shy. I am shy in like, I think I've learned.
You scared me a little when I met you.
I have RBF.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
for
do.
sure, for sure. Me and my sister both. And everyone says it's like, oh, is she annoyed? Is she angry? Yeah, I have this angry face. But that's just my sad resting face. Yeah.
It's just your face.
But I am shy. And that shyness often comes across as like
Aloofness.
she's a bit like, she doesn't care.
She's a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's like I'm trying to compute the situation. And then once I've got it, I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? So like with you, probably I couldn't place you. I was like, I don't know who she is, but I feel like I know her, but no, I don't. Obviously I don't, because everyone was like, have you met Sheen? And twice somebody said to me, and I was like, I've met her.
But I don't know her.
I don't know her, but I want to talk to you. But then I didn't want to make small talk with you.
Yeah, same. That's the problem. Neither of us want to do small talk, so we were both like, okay,
So we're
cool.
both like, no, I'm not going to talk to you. And
that
so,
way.
yeah. And then it was in the wedding, in the latter half of the actual wedding, that we started talking about
But it was too
food
cold and we went to stand by the fire.
And then but that people bond over the strangest of things, right?
I know.
And we met so many people at that wedding. It was hard to keep up. And but I'd come alone, and like you, so that was my first time going to a wedding. Well, probably in a long time. Like I hadn't been to a wedding where I went by myself.
Same. It was my first time ever.
And I tell you, the social anxiety that comes with being on your own in a space like that is quite hard. It's not about me. It's about the couple getting married, right? But damn, it's hard. Like even when you're getting ready, it's like, oh, normally some hype person next to you will be like, yeah, let's go. Or my husband will be there. And,
exactly.
There's always that safety
Or you're
blanket.
meeting someone and then you're going to the wedding together. Or you'll
nothing.
meet this person. And
Yeah.
Same. For me, I remember calling my mum and I was like, I don't know how I feel. She was like, oh, you'll meet friends. And I was like, yeah, that's the problem. I have to make friends.
Yes.
When I get
it's
there.
an active effort that you have to make.
And when you get there, a lot of people were like with as a couple or with a group of friends they already knew.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was the third wheel and I kept apologizing. And I'm really sorry.
I
I'm
was
going to be your
fully
third
the third
wheel today.
for a lot of people.
And then when I saw you, I was like, oh, thank God.
I know. And yeah, but it was too late. It was like, then the reception was done.
We had suffered already.
But it's a learning curve, right?
It is.
But then I said to my husband, I was like, I need to do more of solo.
Things you're scared to do.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
For sure. But listen, okay, I have a question for you. I know we're running out of time. Can you believe it?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. But listen, from someone who is on the outside looking in, what I see when I look at you, especially a little bit before when I didn't know you very well, is, beautiful woman, has a great job, is a doctor, is also online, and you have kids, you have a husband, you're doing all of this. Is there anything that you struggle with that people wouldn't know? Anything that you find hard to navigate?
Yeah. I think confidence to put yourself out there.
That's so hard to believe, Pyal.
Yeah, I know. I am that person that if it's just me and my camera, I can do anything. But the moment I have to stand up and sort of speak to a bunch of people, it's like I have to do like 100 different exercises to get myself hyped up. I am now a confident woman, but that's because now I feel like I haven't got anything to lose. It's really strange because when you're younger, you feel like you've got something to lose by being you. And I don't know what changed. I wish I could pinpoint it. But maybe it was 2020. Maybe it was having an online presence. But I suddenly realized I don't care what people think. But I do, to some level, still care. I still care how people perceive me. So I could be sensational, like on social media, like I could be clickbait. But I don't do any of that because I want to just be me. I don't want to attract any kind of, do you see what I mean? I struggle with that. The thing is growth.
Playing it safe a little, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Growth on social media can be, you have to push boundaries.
Yeah, there are different ways to grow.
Different ways to grow. And I don't do that. I will never do that. I will never try to attract attention from a negative place.
Same.
Or a statement.
Yeah.
Or something
like
where,
negative engagement, right?
or somebody who's, or targeting a vulnerable group of people somehow, because the beauty industry can be like that. Like it can be targeting a certain insecurity in somebody. So I don't like that because I have been that insecure person.
Yep.
I know what it feels like where you could just throw money at everything, or you could just try everything that comes in your path. So I struggle with that a little bit because the expectation is once you're at a certain platform, like, why don't you do more? Like, why don't you push yourself more? Because I could work more. I could do this. But I want to just be happy. You know, that happiness quotient is hard to achieve. And that's a struggle, just striking that balance between pushing yourself and maybe.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I can see what you mean. I think that's the thing we're talking about, right? I think we're good girls.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We were brought up to be good girls.
Yes.
And that's why now we play safe. That's why we put caveats in everything we say. We don't want to be cocky. We don't want to take up too much space. Yeah. And we cater to other people's emotions and feelings. And all of that comes together.
I'd rather be the tortoise than the hare.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And also, I would rather that I have been careful and therefore not offended people rather than
I don't want to offend anybody.
Being offensive.
Yeah.
What is the point of
I don't
that?
want to be offensive. And I'm quite old-fashioned in the sense, and I don't want people to misunderstand this, but I like being a lady. And I want to be, I mean, maybe at this wedding I wasn't quite a lady. Maybe you saw other aspects of me, but I can go wild. But on the whole, I like to be polite. I like to be nice. And I like to be considered as a nice person because I like to give an energy that I like to receive. And the same goes for my content. I wouldn't share content that I wouldn't want to watch myself, or I wouldn't send to my sister. So I share like as if I'm sharing to friends and family. So I don't share with a notion or a target or a growth strategy. I share whatever is that day, you know. And yes, you know, I have paid campaigns with lots of skincare brands, but again, even that is like, why would you use this? Because I'm telling you that this is a good, but you have to make the ultimate decision. So yeah, I share like, that's why that's probably what I struggle with, that I could do more, but.
That makes sense. But okay, final question. Obviously you got married when you were relatively young, right? What age did you get married at?
I was 28.
Yeah. Okay. Not that young, but still.
Not that young. For those times, I guess.
Younger than I am. Yeah. But that's one challenge that our generation seems to be facing.
Yes.
Especially, you know, in the Desi culture.
Yeah.
What it's like. Yeah. What advice do you have to young women who are constantly being asked, when are you getting married?
Yeah. I have 2 daughters, and you know, I hope nobody ever asks them, when are you getting married? Because I think it is, look, we're women, we have body clocks. If you want to have children, there is a time frame that you have to get it done in. But marriage is not important. I think companionship is important. So I think people, I'm not saying I rushed into marriage. Luckily I married the right guy, even in haste, if whatever it was at the time. But people get married sometimes because it's the next thing to do. Someone once said to me that you'll get married to the person that you meet when you're almost 30. You get married to that person that you're in a relationship in that phase of your life.
Because it's the time to do it.
Because it's the time. In your head, it's the time. It's the time in his head as well, potentially. But it's not important. I think there will come a time where marriage won't be such a priority. But I still believe in marriage, and I think it'd be nice to see my kids get married and them have children, because that's what everybody expects. But there is so much in life. I love my husband, but I don't put so much weight on it. Would I be a different person if he wasn't in my life? Would I be a different person if I didn't have kids? Maybe, but it shouldn't be a milestone to tick off, you know? So what I say to young girls, and I do meet a lot of younger women who are single, I say, you know what, the right person in the right time, and Nikki will say this as well, that when the stars align, that person will come.
Yep.
But you can't just sit and wait as well. There is an active, you know, you have to step towards it a little bit as well. So you have to try, but it's hard in this day and age. It is hard because times have changed so much. There's, you know, very fast paced dating and, you know, whatever else. And weddings are a great opportunity to meet people. But not always, it's not always the right space, it's not always the right type
married
of
men.
Oh yes, taken men everywhere. But I hear you, and I hear young women. It's hard. I sometimes sit and think, why did I get married? Was it important? I think it was important to my parents.
Right.
You
were told to.
Was it
right?
important to me?
Yeah. Probably not.
No. Companionship is important to me. I like having someone there with me to share memories, but we do so much separately as well. Like, I think that's a healthy relationship where he can go somewhere and not have to worry about me, and I can go somewhere, enjoy myself and come back. So we do a lot of separate stuff, and separately with the kids as well. So we're a unit, but sometimes we're not. So people can get by, even if, it's not I say this to my parents and their friends and stuff, it's not a necessity. It shouldn't be.
That's a very good message. Good point. This conversation was very much like our usual conversation.
It was, wasn't it?
ADHD going all the way around.
That's why I said to you, like, before we record, I was like, it might just be like what we were talking about in Dubai, which is fine.
Nothing was to completion, but we touched on a lot of points. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you have any parting message for the audience, for the young ladies watching you?
Do you know, I think if you're thinking about doing something, just do it. Like, I think don't, that's how my life has been. It's been, I've thought about something, and if I've thought about it too long, I've not done it. But if I think about it and just do it, it's happened. So don't have the doubts, just go ahead and do it. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
I love it.
Yeah, like don't dwell on it too much. Don't weigh up the pros and cons too much. If you want to do it, just go and do it.
What's the worst that can
if it's
happen?
not harming anybody. Yeah, don't harm anybody, because that's not good.
Yeah.
But don't harm yourself, don't harm anybody else, but do stuff.
Love that. Very empowering. Thank you so much, Pyal.
Thank you.
This was lovely. We definitely need a part 2.
I'll
There's
come
so
back
much more
anytime.
to
I'll
do.
come to Dubai.
No, we'll only do it when you're in Dubai now.
Oh, amazing.
Okay?
Yes.
All right.
Done.
Done.